Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. You know, in the past I've done videos where I have had people send me videos of their projects and then I edit that video for them and I make it a viewer's project video. I haven't done one of those in a while, but I had a viewer, Nick, offer to do a video on a product that he put on his very cool 68 Mustang. If you follow along with any of my live streams or anything like that, you know Nick has been on my live streams. I've shared pictures of his car, and he recently put on a rear spoiler on the deck lid. I believe it's Foreman Fiber Worx is the name of the company. And they sell products that are carbon fiber. So the spoiler, they have carbon fiber inserts for the 69 Mach 1 on the side panel where your quarter is. They also have door panels, stuff like that. So Nick wanted to do a video on the installation of this spoiler on the back of his 68 Mustang. He did a pretty good job. I know he's not used to doing these type of videos, but I appreciate him and making this video for all of us to see. So take it away, Nick.
Hey. Hey, how you doing? My name's Nick. I'm going to take you through how to install this carbon fiber spoiler from Foreman Fiber Worx for a 67 to 68 Mustang. On that bad boy right there. That? Yep. All right, let's do it. Okay. Whew, it is cold in this shop, I tell you what. So basically what I'm going to do is just kind of guide you through things that I've already done on this. To tell you, kind of give you an idea of what's involved and step that you need to take to kind of help line it up, things that I found that might help you in your situation. A couple differences between the 67, 68s and the 64 to 66s. And just a general guideline, because most of the stuff, it's pretty easy. It's just drilling holes and bolting stuff up. The hard part is the measuring and making sure that you got it lined up. And that's the part that's probably scary and scares a lot of people off from doing this. But it's not that bad. Just take your time. Think it through, measure. So what I'm going to do is just like step 1, step 2, and just break it up into bits like that. And we'll do a little section at a time here. Let's get started. Okay, step 1. Basically, you're going to want to take your instructions, read them, make sure that you understand them, make sure that you have all of your pieces, your parts list, make sure you have all your stuff to do it. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. That's all going to be outlined right here on this first page. You're going to have your spoiler, obviously, your brackets, your screws and barrel nuts, all that stuff. The only thing you're not going to have for the 67/8 is this rivet nut right here, because the 64 to 66 actually attaches to the back of the trunk there, which on the 67/8 it's going to be on top right here through the sheet metal, through the hole in the bracket there. So you got room to get to it. And then you're going to make sure that you have all the tools that you need. Again, you're not going to need that rivet nut tool unless you got an earlier car. Obviously, you're going to need a drill. You're going to need sharp bits. Do not do it with dull bits, especially if you've got a nice painted car, because it's just going to want to walk on you and you're going to rue the day. Definitely use tape, masking tape. I would actually put this on required if you have a nice car. If you got a rat rod or something, I understand it's not really that big of a deal. You're going to need a way to measure it. I would probably actually put that on there too, unless you got the good laser eye, you know. And center punch, I have a tip for that. And obviously you're going to need a way to mark some stuff. And the blue Loctite would be to go on these right here. So that is step 1. Just make sure you understand everything. Make sure you have everything that you need. Make sure you have all your supplies. And get you some towels and things like that, stuff to protect if you have nice paint. Okay, step 2. Step 2 is very simple. All you're going to do is take your brackets and install them onto your spoiler. Finger tight. You want to be able to move these if you need to. Reason being is so that you have a little wiggle room when you go to put them into your actual deck lid. That's just, you're going to have these countersink washers and the bolts and these barrel nuts and stainless washers. They just get stainless washer and barrel nut on this side. Let me pick this up so that I can get it without messing anything up. And then your countersink washer and bolt on that side. Finger tight. No more than that. You do not want to make anything tight until you got everything lined up. Okay, next step I'm going to call step 3A. Basically, get you some masking tape, tape across over your extensions, go up a good ways, go up this way in case you need to put a measuring rule that going that way, which I did. That's why I did that. And take your little tape, put it on the end of your bracket so you can mark center of that. And then you'll see here in the corner, this is the corner of the quarter itself, the edge of the quarter. I took a straight edge. You can take a piece of string, doesn't matter, but take a straight edge from that corner, mark you a line, come all the way across to this other corner of this quarter. Doing that should pretty well line you up like this. I mean, it will look right, at least if nothing else. You can double check and make sure if you actually want to get it straight. I mean, it should be straight like that, because that, I mean, if these were installed right, sometimes they're not that way. But in general, as long as your trunk curve is lined up to your quarter extension here, and that's correct, running this line is going to make this so easy. I'm telling you right now, it ain't bad. You'll measure that out, and I got 53 1/8. I just did it in decimal because I divided this stuff. It made it easier for that. And you know, divide that in half, you'll get 26 9/16. Again, measure yours. It may be slightly different. And then mark that. That's your 26 9/16 right there. That is your center line. It happens to be right over the key right there. So you know that's pretty well centered. From there, you're going to measure 19 inches over this way. Mark that on there. Scribe you a line, vertical, usually a little something with a right angle, so you can get you a good straight line going that way. And then from here, measure 19 over here, for that hole. The reason that this hole is down a little ways, I'm going to show you in the next step. As far as step 3A, that's step 3A. Okay, step 3B. This right here is called a transfer punch. It's made to find the center of a hole, a bolt hole, which guess what we have on those brackets? A bolt hole that we're trying to find the center of. The reason the tape is important is because you can just basically put this through the hole of the bracket and kind of put a light pressure and twist like this. And right there, you got a hole, a mark. Then you take that with the actual center punch, back it up on the other side with a piece of wood or something, and give it a few punches. Matter of fact, actually, you can even take and give that a good swirl there, get a much better mark like that. That there, you can get them from Harbor Freight. They're not expensive, and they're invaluable for this because they make it so much easier. They're just going to go right through there. So find the one that fits the tightest, that's loose enough to slide through easy. And then on this, I marked it with masking tape. These are 1 3/4 wide, which means the center is 7/8. 7/8. That'll come in play because of this crosshatch right here. You'll basically line this up to this, use this, mark your center. That's gonna go right there, like that, right up to the line. And when you do that, you get a little gap. You end right at the edge there. And you're right on the curve of that quarter extension. Put the same over there. It lines up quite nicely when you do that. Very simple. It keeps it in this plane. And doing that, getting it lined up there, give it a little twist with the transfer punch, and then take your regular center punch, back it up from the backside, give it a couple wax or spring loaded little deals there, and then take a 1/8 bit sharp and drill your pilot hole. After you drill that pilot hole, I found it a little easier to get you a step bit. This is a 13 step bit, I think. I told Liam 8, but it's actually 13. And then that 3/32 right above the 3/8, that's where you want to go. I'll give you about 25 thousandths play around the bolt that you're going to be putting in. So if you need a little wiggle room, you got it. And it's not too loose that it's just ridiculous. That is the end of step 3B. Okay, step 4. So basically all that's left is bolting it on. For the 67/8, instead of a rivet nut, you're going to have a nylock nut and a 3/8 bolt. So what you're going to do is underneath the deck lid here, there's these openings right up here. And then right there is where your bolt's going to come through. And you have a little nylock nut. Just tighten it down. Once you have those tightened down, go ahead and tighten these down. You can take them out one at a time, put a little blue Loctite if you wish to keep it from backing out, and snug them up. Check everything, make sure you're good, and it's installed. Looks fancy. It's good quality stuff. I will say on my deck lid, I found out, unfortunately, that it has a little bit of a twist to it. So what I did was I went and got the factory style bumpers, because the body shop that painted it, which should have took care of the twist, honestly, put like a generic rubber bump stop on it, and I went and put the original ones on there, the original style. They're a little taller, and it still wasn't giving me enough lift. So I put the ones that they had on there here. It just happened to be shimmed just enough to where it evened this out, and actually it fit very nice after that. Still got a little bit over here. What I think I'm going to try to do is put a board on that side somewhere and try to push down to see if I can get a little bit of twist out of it. A little sketchy with it being painted, but I'm going to try it one way or another. And sorry about the dirt again. I haven't had time to clean it since I got it back. I've been enjoying it, driving it and stuff, and going to cruises. It's been a pretty cool car, actually. But I really like this. I think it looks very, very nice. Well, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, for the most part, just make sure you, as Barry says, test fit, test fit, test fit. Make sure that you got your measurements going okay, and our frame of reference, really. It's more about frame of reference, because these cars have a very loose tolerance on them from the factory. Unless they've been restored to be laser straight, there's going to be some compromise to them. There really is. I'm going to piggyback off that and say that that's why those bumpers are probably pretty important, especially with a spoiler, from keeping it from bouncing and hitting those extensions and everything. Like if it looks like it's close, it'd be a good idea to put some sort of bumper in there. Another thing you can do, actually, the holes that those little bumpers go into, you can put a rivet nut in there and put one of those adjustable styles on there, like, you know, on your front of your front hood, and then you can kind of adjust it the way you need. That's a pretty slick way to do it. I might even do that. Notes from the manufacturer is basically, he says that he tells most people just kind of line up as best you can, do the quarter extensions and make sure that everything clears and it looks right and straight. So for the most part, I guess you kind of could do it without a measuring tape, but doing that line across there kind of gives you a frame of reference. For most people, it makes them feel a little more comfortable to do something like that. And also, you'll know that you kind of have it centered side to side, or at least to the car. And then another thing is, on the barrel nuts that actually attach the spoiler to the brackets, they have a powder coat on them. He mentioned taking a tap and die to them if you got one, just to kind of clear the threads out a little bit. If you were going to put some like blue Loctite on there, that probably would help that anyway. I mean, it'll work either way, because all you basically do is put a little like plastic in there. It kind of creates an interference fit. I think it looks great. I think it complements the car very well. It fills out the rear end, kind of makes it look more aggressive. A skosh more modern, which, if that's what you're looking for, is what I was looking for, kind of pro touring modern resto mod thing. The carbon fiber is a nice touch. It just, you know, it's space age materials, you know. And I think that Foreman Fiber Worx is going to be having a lot of neat stuff down the line, and he's a very good person. He has done nothing but try to make sure that I've been satisfied with every purchase I've ever made. I cannot recommend his company enough. But there you go. It's not too bad. I recommend it. See ya.
You know, that car is really cool. It's got so much done to it, so many cool things that Nick has done to it. Sounds incredible, and I know he's going to enjoy driving it very much. So again, thanks Nick for making the video. If you would, everybody leave a thumbs up and a comment. If you're interested, I'm sure you can find Foreman Fiber Worx on the net and see what they offer, and that'll be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.